Good morning. Good morning. Good evening, everyone. My day has been turned upside down. Good evening and welcome to the Robert Down virtual back to school night for 2021-22. Again, tonight we'll have a 15-minute presentation by myself, PTA, PG Pride, our PE teacher and our counselor real quick. And then I'll be available with all those people for an hour afterwards. We will have two sessions, one that starts from 6:30 to 7, and then one from 7 to 7:30, where you can visit multiple classrooms. And in the chat, the second document, I'm so sorry, I put the Zoom link to this meeting. Obviously, you're here. We have our Google link, our Google Doc that has all the links to our classrooms tonight. So if you have any issues, just come back to this Zoom, and I'll be here again through 7:30, and we'll try to help get you where you need to be, okay? So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so we can get everything going. And it's taken a while, it's been a while for me doing this, but just give me a second. All right. And Mr. Mejia, is this showing up okay on the screen for everybody? Okay. So again, welcome to our back to school night. This year, it's building back our Otter Ohana. This is just a little bit about me. I was born in San Jose, went to Cupertino High, very proud pioneer. I went to Fresno State, go Bulldogs. I also went to San Jose State, my hometown. And it's my 28th year in education. Feels like forever ago, teaching at Fresno High, and my wife's and father's hometown, Sanger. And I've been all over, but I've landed in Pacific Grove and I found my home. This is my 21st year in PG USD, and I've been an assistant principal and a principal now for 8 years. This is our wonderful primary teams. Our kindergarten team is Ms. Kelly, Ms. Chavez, and Renteria. Our first grade team, we're welcoming Laura Smith this year, who's taking the place of Rachel McNichol and joining Michelle Evans and Ms. Perkins. And she's been a great addition. So welcome, Ms. Smith. Our second grade team is Ms. Gilmore, Ms. Johnson, and the Darnell Bingham team in room 13. And they're just doing a great job so far this year. In our intermediate grades, we have Mr. Jones, Ms. State School, and Pearlstein, with Mr. Ibrahim joining them. And I put that picture of Mr. Ibrahim in there because people always get us mixed up. So we both have beards, we both have a little bit of gray, but just remember, he's the way more of a Star Wars fan or Star Trek fan than I would ever be. So it's great to have Mr. Ibrahim back down in third grade. Our fourth grade team is Ms. Payon, Ms. Levy, and Ms. Brockmeyer. And I'm just really proud to say that we have Ms. Brockmeyer not as a temporary teacher, but she is with us as a teacher who's trying to earn her tenure. So congratulations, Ms. Brockmeyer. We love having you in that role. And our wonderful fifth grade team is Mrs. Mary Heiserman, one of our veterans on campus, Ms. Hover, and Ms. Takuya. So sorry, I did not have a picture with Mrs. O'Sullivan, Ms. Wazis, and Mrs. Riddell together, but we'll have that down and we'll get it to you someday. But they are an awesome team. I can't ask for anybody better. And again, welcome Carrie O'Sullivan to our family here at Robert Down. Part of our SPED team is Ms. Davis, Ms. Roach, and Ms. Rivera. Ms. Davis works with our students in special education in resource, and Ms. Roach is our OT, or occupational therapist. And Ms. Rivera is our speech pathologist here on campus. And Ms. Patty Bloomer's crew obviously has Ms. Patty Bloomer there, Mr. Kyle, Ms. Christina, Ms. April, and Ms. I'm so sorry, Ms. Adrienne. And our intervention team is Ms. Zunguzi. I'd like to welcome Ms. Zunguzi to our campus for the first time. And she's great. She is a PG grad, PG girl coming back to work in her hometown. And Desi Zanger is our school psychologist. Sonda Fruden is our counselor. And I'm sorry, I did not get a picture of our new ELD teacher, Ms. Chantel Cafferata, but welcome Chantel to our Otter Ohana here at Robert Down. Our special rotations is probably, I want to say, the best librarian west of the Mississippi, Ms. Ann Scanlon. And if you can't get a better picture of a choir director than that picture right there, Mr. Macer is just so happy to be with your kids every single day, working outside or inside the room, but he's working outside, trying to keep the kids safe. And our excellent PE team of the incredible Mr. D and Ms. Peggy Tobin. Right now, we are looking for a new instrumental teacher. Our teacher from last year has temporarily moved to Italy, and she's going to help us out for a little while until we get someone to replace her. But unfortunately, we lost Mrs. Harubi last year or during the summer. Mr. Daniel Schwartz is our computer tech, and unfortunately, I don't have a picture of him after 3 years. And I texted him, but unfortunately, I did not get one. But Mr. Bradley is his partner in crime. He is our district digital learning teacher, and he will be working with all classrooms in teaching your kids about coding and other awesome things. We wrote a Pebble Beach grant, and he got a bunch of Ozo bots for your students, and they're going to have a lot of fun with that during the digital learning time in the computer lab. And our Otter custodians are led by the incredible Mr. Eddie Overstreet. And if you know Eddie, you'll know that he is dedicated to your kids and keeping our classrooms safe and clean, and he's just an incredible custodian. He's great to work with. The goals for this year, honestly, are to keep our school safe and open. It's as easy as that. And we want to have all students gain at least 1 year's worth of learning. And through our MAP testing that we'll be implementing this year, you will know that as parents, and we'll know that as a staff. That's what's really special about MAP testing. We definitely want to provide intervention for students that need the extra guidance in ELA and MAP. And we want to do that within classrooms and in our pull-out support services. When safe, we definitely want to bring back those Robert Down traditions that make this school a lot of fun. But definitely, we need to make sure that it's safe in order for all of us to get together. And I will be offering cocoa with Kellers. You may have heard with principal or coffee with the principal. Unfortunately, I'm one of those weird people that does not drink coffee. So I decided to go with the cocoa with Keller last year, and it's been fun for me because I do love my hot chocolate. And also, one of the goals for this year is to educate all of our families and enact safety for food allergy awareness. And we've started that with our students, and I will be sending out things very soon to all families to try to up the understanding of the food allergies that we have on campus. And that's one more layer of trying to keep our kids safe here during snack and during lunchtime. At this time, I would like to thank our illustrious superintendent, Dr. Ralph Gomez Porras, for being here tonight, and also thank any of the board members. I can't see all of them that are out there, but I'd like to thank any of them that are here: John Paff, Christy Dawson, Ms. Swanson, Brian Swanson, and of course, Mr. Frank Rivera, who happens to be a proud Robert Down parent. So thank you so much. It's Caroline Swanson. I'm so sorry, Ms. Caroline. And just a few reminders for all of our parents. Please be safe. I did send that email out last night that asked parents not to congregate so much in front of the school. I want to ask that if you do want to hang out after school, go to the back, go to the field. There are tons of space out there. I've seen the kids run around in the grass in front. And you know what? Again, because of what we're going through this week alone, please utilize the field, utilize the space. The kids will have tons of room to run around. And plus, there's a playground up there. So I just suggest that parents that want to hang out and talk, I understand you've been in your homes for so long and you're happy to see each other, but please ask your kids to go meet you back in the Unipero gate. Meet there, bring a lawn chair if you have to. You know, this is your campus, but I want to make sure we're safe when we're congregating. So just think about that, and hopefully the Pine Avenue area will remain pick up and drop off, and people can pull in. I have seen a few people park there off of Pine Avenue near the co-op. Please do not park there after school. Have that plan for your student to come out right away, get their attention, get in the car, don't get out of your car, stay in there and pull out safely as soon as you can. Also a reminder, we have a justifiable absence program where you as a family can take up to 10 days for educational purposes throughout the year. Please have that filled out and get it back to Ms. Carrie O'Sullivan here in the office, in the attendance office. And you need to have that done 2 weeks before you go on any kind of vacations or any kind of leave. So please just get that in on time. And I did want to address, and just so you know, all families, I will be here again from 6:30 to 7:30 to answer any questions of concerns that you may have of the issues we've had with COVID this last week. But I just wanted to get it out there to all of you when I talked to Nurse Powley, our district nurse, who had spoken to the county, that for any classroom to be closed this year, there has to be at least 3 or more outbreaks in a classroom, and the Department of Health for the county will make the call. And we would be in quarantine for that classroom for 10 days, and the teacher of that classroom would provide distance learning for that classroom while the entire classroom would be out in quarantine. In order for a school to be shut down, based on the percentages here at Robert Down, that would be 5 classrooms, 25% of a school. And again, in every single one of those classrooms, there would need to be 3 or more cases, and the Department of Health would help the district make the call of whether or not the school would be shut down. We have our contact information there. I just realized that I have a Google Voice down there for our previous attendance clerk. So please disregard that Google Voice. But once again, my Google Voice, and please put this in your phone, is 831, and I will put it in the chat later, 831-275-0083. I urge you that if you have any concerns about your student having COVID, or especially if your student is found to have COVID, please text me or call me as soon as possible. Thank you for calling our office, but I have connections to our admin team and to Nurse Powley that could help identify students and other within classrooms. And we want to inform families and staff members about any kind of exposures right away. So if you contact me directly, it's the fastest way to make sure everyone's going to be safe. So don't hesitate to get in touch with me through my Google Voice. Again, that's 831-275-0083. Don't forget, please CC Mrs. O'Sullivan if you're emailing your teachers. It just helps out with one layer, and having her in the email thread will give her the information she will need to help provide a cleared absence for your student. All right, if Miss Lucy Hazen can join us right now to give the presentation for our awesome PTA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keller. Can everyone hear me? Does that sound, yeah? Okay, good. I was muted for a moment. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for allowing us into the intro this evening. My name is Lucy Hazen, and I'm co-president of Robert Downey's PTA alongside Jana Dreisbach. So I'm only supposed to have 3 minutes. I'm going to try to be super fast and give you what you need to know. So who we are, what we do, how we do it is basically what I'm going to talk about. We are simply put, just a group of volunteer parents and teachers from the Robert Downey community. I'll ask Mr. Keller to advance the slide. Thank you. Super. So, I mean, oh, this is a previous, this is not the one I sent you. That's okay. We can work with this.
Sorry.
On the fly. That's all good.
Okay.
So we can jump to the calendar. This is just an example of what we have on the docket for this year. You can see we have an assortment of enrichment and social activities. We are aiming, fingers crossed, to be able to pull all of these off. Most of them will look familiar to families who are a part of our community. And all this information we'll make available through proper school communications. So you don't need to try to commit any of this to memory. I'm curious what the next slide is because I don't know now what it's going to be. Okay. Okay, so, we could be real direct. So how we work is basically through a number of means. We memberships, which involves a $20 per year a fee per family. That helps really go to our general fund. That's one option. You can also, of course, give more than that if you're so inclined. Other than donations, though, we really need just some time and people's bandwidth here and there to contribute to various events. You know, a lot of you have skills that we don't have, and we just need man and woman power occasionally to pull off a lot of the activities that we host every year. So you'll hear from us periodically with requests to volunteer time and resources. So next slide, I don't know what that is. Okay. So another thing that we do is we facilitate the spirit wear. So all the great Robert Down logo shirts and sweatshirts that you see around, that comes from a partner called Field of Dreams. So we get a portion. I don't honestly know what that portion of the proceeds is. It goes to the Robert Down PTA, but anyway, it's a good way to just boost your school spirit and contribute to the PTA. Next slide, please. Ah, cool. This is one of my slides. So this is kind of the bottom line. We can do a lot of great things. We've done just super fun movie nights and, you know, Halloween parties and bike rodeos and bingo nights and all sorts of things, but we really need help. So whether that's, you know, your annual membership or just volunteering your time, we have monthly dine outs. So whenever we have those, it would be really great to just put your cooking skills aside and go get takeout for the night. That helps us a lot. Classroom liaisons are another opportunity. You can be in touch with your child's teacher about serving that role. We have monthly meetings, which are only 30 minutes. So it's pretty low commitment, but that's a good way to keep updated, maybe contribute to decision-making. And one point I want to make on this at this moment is that regarding membership. So you can be a member and that can be your obligation and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Also, you can volunteer and not be a paying member. So any and all of these things are welcome and invited. So please consider contributing however you can. And the last bullet point I will just flag because we are a really strong team. Our board is, you see it here, but this is us right now. In the past years, we've had quite a lot more parents involved. So if you have any special extra time or interest, we would love help with board positions. We have a few of them open. So I guess maybe next slide. Okay, so this is interesting. Sorry guys, this is like all across the board. This is just a handful of visual examples of previous events, just to give you a sense. I love the top right. Mr. Keller was conscripted to the kitchen at Johnny Rockets, I think that was. Next slide. Okay, that's it. So basically here's like the nuts and bolts of reaching out to us. My email's on here, our website's on here. That's kind of it. I would encourage you, if you are going to email, go ahead and use my LJ Hazen email in the near future, because I haven't quite figured out how to actually use the Robert Down PTA email. I'll get there. But anyway, thanks so much for your time. That about wraps it up.
All right. Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you.
And everyone, I do have more of a presentation. However, I'm cutting into classroom time. So again, I will be here from 7 or until 7:30. So anyone who'd like to stay, you're more than welcome. Miss Sonda Fruden will be here. I'm hoping that Miss Tobin, our PE teacher, will be able to hang out as well, and Miss Sunguzi. Also, I have a PG Pride rep, Mr. Chris Evans, if he's available. So please go into the chat and look for the second link which is the Google Doc. If you don't have the email that had the link, please go to that and you can go to your children's classrooms there. Okay. Thanks for coming tonight. And again, I'll be here all the night, well, almost until 7:30.
Sean, do I come back at 7:30 or do I stay through?
No, just stay right here. Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here as well, Sean, so I'll stay all the way through. This is Peggy.
Thank you, Ms. Tobin.
Uh-huh.
If there's any parents that would like to have a conversation right now, go ahead and Mr. Mejia, is the chat open?
It is not. We can open it, or you can have people raise hand by clicking on participants at the bottom or under reactions, sorry. And then you'll see that little raise hand button, however you prefer.
But for me to, gosh, I'm trying to get into the million. Okay, it's okay. Laura Migdal, I'm going to go ahead and.
Mr. Keller, thank you so much for everything that you've done this year so far. And I just had a couple of questions.
Sure.
The first question is, if we are uncomfortable with our daughter being there with COVID cases, what is our options besides independent studies for a third grader?
So we were directed today by the district office that if only students that have a direct exposure based on what's provided to us from a parent and from outside exposures and everything, outside of Roberttown, that they have excused absences with a Q, which means quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
For those families that are outside of those classrooms that did not have any kind of exposure, then we gave them today as kind of a grace period because there were some families who were very concerned. But that starting tomorrow, this children would be required to go to school. Now,
Okay.
if there are families that are still worried and want to switch to distance learning, then obviously you can switch to the North Monterey County Distance Learning Program. And we can get you in touch with Denise Ingalls at the district office for the inter-district transfer. And I'm not sure if she should have been muted there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay. So then I guess the concern is to make sure I have family members at home that are very, very unfortunately susceptible, and we've all been vaccinated. We've done what we should be doing. But I still have some fear of her grade getting a class member or someone she's interacting with on the playground for lunches. I'm sure every parent's having the same conversation with you. But before and after school, I've actually pulled her out of that because I can't take that chance for my parents to have any chance of getting this. We've kept her isolated, for 15 months. It's not fair to her that we're making these decisions to, ultimately probably have to pull her out of the school, which we don't want to do. But I'm just curious if there is any opportunity for her to do distance learning at all.
Through our district, like I said, it would only be if an entire class or the whole entire school is shut down.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the only thing I can see at this point.
Okay.
Because we again this week we're directed not to have teachers Zoom during the day.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Well, sorry to be even more of a mark on it. It's just unfortunate for,
No, and Laura, you're not the only one. You're not the only parent. I've talked to several today. And again, we want to make the kids safe. I'm hoping that the measures I've taken just this week will help kids stay safe. I want all of you to know that I went around at least to third, fourth, and fifth grade to explain how we're going to separate them during lunchtime. And it's my hope by doing that, that we'll have at least the cohort together. So if there's an exposure during lunch and we find out about it as soon as possible, then I'll know and I can check video and I can inform parents, hey, your child's been exposed. The child who was positive had their mask down while they were eating, looked like they were laughing. That's the game plan for now. And we've had already by Wednesday, had already separated. The kinders were already separated, but we made sure that they're in separate tables during noontime. And we separated the first and second graders starting on Wednesday. And today I put teachers' names on the tables to help the kids remind themselves. And trust me, I had made a switch because I often do that. And the noon duty and the kids knew that I had done the wrong thing. They switched them back. So the kids, they're being great and they understand why. Next week, we're going to initiate grade level playtimes and places on campus. So we'll have a rotation very similar to what occurred in the spring, but it will be by grade level. So again, the worst case scenario for an exposure is when the mask is off during a snack or break. We have tables for the kids to go to during recess and lunch. So we'll know who's at that table and who to contact. And during recess and lunch, I'll at least have it down to a grade level of who's playing in what area. And again, when it's closer to the campus, I can check the videos to see who positive cases have been around during that time. Okay, Mr. Gary Bailey.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, good. Okay. I was curious to know about the ventilation system in the school.
Well, I know for a fact that all of the filters were changed right before school because, again, we have a lot of Robert Down parents who work for the district, and Mr. Jeff was going around and changing the filters. I want to say, and Dr. Porce, if you can help me, or if Mr. Kelly is with us right now, who is also a Robert Down parent, or former, sorry. We have the 8 level of HEPA filters because our systems are just a little older. We're looking into with our new Measure A monies to change that. But as of right now, we did tests in the spring, right before the kids came back, and all of the systems met the measures that the Department of Health wanted to be enacted. And that was shared during a board meeting. I shared that during a cocoa with Keller. And there were really high numbers. I can't remember exactly, it's not my realm of expertise, but I just know that there was a threshold that Director Kelly shared with the board. And at Robert Down, we met that threshold in every single classroom.
Okay, I had another question regarding the PTA.
Yeah.
So I would love to support the PTA, but time is not a commodity that I have very much of. I published a newspaper, the Cedar Street Times newspaper, and it's a nightmare. So what could I do vis-a-vis the newspaper to help the PTA?
Well, obviously you have that the opportunity to provide advertising for them. It's a local paper, I would say, for the entire district, for all of our schools.
Well, we do, yeah, we do advertising
Okay.
for the district and so on, but I'm thinking about the local PTAs. Is there something that you'd like to have published in the paper on a weekly basis or anything like that?
Well, I don't know if Miss Hazen's still with us, but if she's not, then I'll connect the two of you, okay?
Okay,
Anything else about the PTA?
that's about it.
All right, well, thank you
Thank-
for your support.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, I don't see any other hands. Again, you could put something in the chat or raise your hand. And I think Mr. Path wanted to say something. Oh, there's someone from an iPhone. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but Mr. Mejia, can we unmute our individual on the iPhone?
Hello, Mr. Keller. Thank you very much for organizing this meeting and for this QA question section.
Okay.
For the distance learning, I heard that the county offered some distance learning opportunities. Do you
Just
do
to
you
be
know
clear,
anything about that? I mean, could you provide any details?
sure. That is North Monterey County. It's a district up that's up in the northern part of the county that serves Castroville, Prunedale, and Moss Landing. So that we've been partnered with them with an independent study program for our high school students for many, many years. Their satellite office is off of David Avenue on our campus that the district owns. And we partnered with them this year to offer distance learning. We know that if we were to require our own teachers to provide distance learning, it would be too much of a burden for them. So we partnered with them and they are offering distance learning. There is an agreement between the two districts that our parents and families can come in and out of the program. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact timeframes, but I want to say that they do want a commitment for a certain amount of days. But after that certain amount of days, you could come back to Robert Down. And I guarantee that if you do pull your student out and join the North Monterey County program, we would hold a spot for your student to come back into the classroom that he or she was placed.
Thank you. By the way, do you know by any chance the size of the distance learning, say, class for?
Sorry, I don't know the people over there, but I'll definitely ask and I'll try to get that information out next week to all families, okay?
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
You bet.
any more details about that that opportunity would be appreciated.
Okay,
Thanks. As it's something that we can think of.
absolutely.
It's a possibility.
Mr.
Thank you.
Mejia, just real quick, is there a link on our district website or at each site for the North Monterey County program? Is there an information link?
Yes, on our front page, as soon as you do go to pgusd.org, it is the first thing on there. As you scroll down, I'm going to drop that link in the chat right now for anybody who wants to, or you can get there by going to pgusd.org.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm sorry, I can't see the entire name. Oh, there it is. It's Erin Maderia. Go ahead, Erin.
Hey there. Thanks so much, Sean. And I just want to thank you and your team too, because I know this is not the way we expected this year to go with respect to, some cases early on. One thing I was just curious if you have looked into and if there's a possibility of is, I talked with some parents. So one of the cases was in my daughter's grade, not in her class. I've talked with some of the parents who it's in that class, and I've been a little surprised that they have had a hard time getting tests, getting rapid tests, getting appointments for tests right away. And I mean, I think that we would all have a bit of like peace of mind if there was some opportunity, especially since now the protocol is that those kids will go to school masked. And, you know, if there's no symptoms, if there is a way to make the rapid testing much more available for those exposed kids. I know that I think some pediatricians' offices are saying, you know, they will not do it unless there are symptoms, but I wonder if that's across the board. I wonder if you might reach out to pediatricians' offices, or if there's something so that we can even add an additional layer of data and understanding to kind of get ahead of potential spread.
Sure. And after Nurse Powley met with our staff yesterday morning, she provided a new list that I did send out. Did you get a chance to see that in the email I sent yesterday? Can we unmute her again?
Thanks. Sorry about that. By list, you mean the kind of protocol? That
No,
list?
it was the list. It was a link to all of the Monterey County agencies that are testing currently.
Oh, okay. No, I did not see
Yeah,
that.
check that email. It may provide you a little bit more information. I know that one that Nurse Powley mentioned, I forget the name, but it's a pretty unique name, kind of like Testing Wizards or something. They're located over by the airport. And I did see that they're there only because I recently went to Hawaii and had a testing, had to provide a test to a similar company up at San Jose Airport. So that is available and that's open to the public. You don't have to be using the airport or services at all. You can get tested there. I don't know the cost.
That's great. And I think the extent to which, you know, in our in my opinion, and, you know, I'm obviously like further on the conservative side of the spectrum on this, but, you know, the extent to which we can encourage doing that rapidly and doing that as soon as possible and sort of pointing that out, I think it would be great. I mean, I understand you're constrained by county and CDC guidelines, but I would make a pitch for the extent to which we can encourage that and make that happen. I think that'd be great.
Well, again, we do have. Go ahead,
if I can interrupt for just a moment. Good evening. Oh, this is a great question. I just wanted to jump in only to let you know we are currently working. Nurse Powell is currently working with some of the local testing agencies to see if we can acquire rapid testing for our families here in the district. There's some logistical issues that come along with that, but we're talking with some of the local districts as well, Monterey Peninsula, Carmel. So we understand the need and the desire to get some more rapid testing available for our families, especially as we're trying to diagnose our own students. So please stay on the alert. We're working on that pretty hard, and I'm hoping to have an outcome for that in the coming week and a half or so. So stand by. We'll get more news for you, but we definitely hear what you're saying, and we're trying to make some progress on that.
That's great to hear. Thanks. And I get it. You guys are doing, I mean, so much with that we never thought we would sign up for. So I really appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do as parents to write a letter, make a call, like let us know, because I know you guys are like in the thick of it every day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Jennifer Barnhill.
Thank you. Hey, so Miss Staskel's link isn't working and there's no chat feature here, so I couldn't ask the question, but if some folks are I'm getting texts from other parents who are able to access that classroom.
I'm so sorry. Let me see what I can do real quick for you.
Thank you. I mean, if it's in the chat, it says the chat's disabled. I don't know if that means I can't put anything in the chat, or maybe if you could send that over in the chat, I'll be happy to share it with my other families.
Let me text her to see if there's. Let me check in with her. Not sure if she has her phone next to her, but thanks for letting me know, Jennifer. Let me just go to the document real quick. Okay. I'm going to put it in the chat again. Let me know if, Mr. Mejia, if you can unmute Mrs. Barnhill.
Hi there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Is
we
the
tried it
link
on both
itself-
our phone and on our desktop, and it's not working for us or yeah either. So we're trying to.
Which
class was it again?
Document.
The stay school. Yes, through the document that you shared.
Okay. Let me check my email to see if she sent me an update for a link. I'm really sorry about that, Jennifer.
No, it's no worries.
You'll be able to catch the second part, hopefully. And I know she was on here earlier, and I don't know if she was trying to get my attention.
Mr. Keller, do you know which grade level that is?
That's third grade.
Oh.
Okay. Let me see if I'm going to put it in the chat again. So that Google Meet link I just put into the chat was what she sent me in an email. Let me know if it's not working. Not at all. Okay. I have texted her. So hopefully we can get this remedied in the next few minutes for you. Mr. Dell, thank you for texting me right now. If you don't mind reaching out to one of the parents in Miss Stay-School's room to see if they actually have access, I would appreciate it. And let me know. Go ahead and text me back. Sorry, Miss Singuzi. You've had your hand up for quite some time.
That's okay. I wanted to offer to put the link to the testing sites, but I can't change my name from my son's name to mine, and I can't chat. So if you wanted to let me chat, I would be able to put that link for you of testing sites.
Okay.
I also got Mrs. Stay School's link to work, and I could put that in the chat too.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. Parents, if you have a question, go ahead and under reactions, click on reactions at the bottom. You may have to hover over the bottom to see the little smiley face with the plus up in its brain or head. And you press raise hand if you'd like to ask a question, or you can put, is the chat not available to everyone, Mr. Mejia? No, okay.
It's marked, it's checked off as available, but nobody seems to be able to get onto it.
Okay. Okay. So
What I discovered with Mrs. Stay School's link was that on the chart that you've given us, there's one that you can click on her name, Mrs. Stay School's link, or you can click below where it says https or TPS :/ meet.google.com, etc. If you click on that one, you can get to her.
okay, so which one should I erase?
Erase the top one.
Where it says Mrs. Stay School's link?
Yes.
Okay. Erasing now. So the one below works,
Yes.
correct?
It did for me.
I just put the working link in the chat for anybody who's here.
Thank you. And sorry for that. Mrs. Barnhill? Let's go ahead and unmute her.
So it says your meeting code has expired. Although it did prompt an actual action, it now is saying that it's expired. I'm going to try the one you just put in the chat, but the one that suggestion of like highlighting the bottom link now says it doesn't exist anymore. So let me try the new.
Okay. Let me see if Mrs. Stay School's in her room, everyone, if you can give me just a moment. And during that time, Chris Evans, are you with us? Can we unmute Mr. Evans?
Not saying a Chris Evans.
Christopher's phone. There we go. There you go, Chris.
Unmuted. Okay.
If you could talk about PG Pride as
Yes.
I try to work this out, okay?
Sure. Can you hear me okay now? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see here. All right. Hello, my name is Chris Evans. I'm on the board for PG Pride. And for those of you who don't know what PG Pride is, PG Pride was founded by interested members of the Pacific Grove area in 1982. And what PRIDE stands for is Public Response in Dollars for Education. So public response in dollars for education. And what we do is we help raise money for the schools, all schools in Pacific Grove, the elementary schools, the adult school, as well as middle school and high school. So it's not just a single school organization. We do this by two main methods. Number one, we have what we call our Great Taste of PG. Usually it is in late February or early March. And it is an outstanding fundraiser where we have local restaurants and wineries provide a walk around a meal, if you will, and tasting of the wines and foods. And it's always accompanied by an auction that is in the center of the room. And some students and classrooms and local business people enter items that are auctioned off, and that part of the auction or that part of the event usually raises almost as much money as the cost of entry, and it's usually a good event. We usually have about 300 people at that event. And what's nice about it, it's one of the few events where you get to get dressed up, and it's on a Sunday afternoon. So you get dressed up in all your best and see all your friends. That will happen, as I said, sometime in March. We haven't got the date yet for that. The other thing that we do is we work with the teachers and we have an event called Walk with Pride. And what that is it's kind of formulated around the old fashioned walkathon, where the whole idea was for teachers to get pledges, and the teachers would walk and they would get donations, and all of that money goes directly to their classroom. So what it has done now is I don't have the exact date on it. I'm sorry. I want to say it's like September 17th or something. It's early in September, and it takes place down on the rec trail in Pacific Grove, and we start at Lover's Point and we go down to the aquarium and we turn around. We always have little chains, and the students get a foot every time they do a lap. And so the students can do that and walk, or they can just donate to the classrooms. And that's what that is about. We're looking for participation, but more than anything, we're looking for funds that the teachers can use for their classrooms. With other funds that come from the Great Taste, teachers write a grant. We've done carpets. We do excess materials that the school can't pay for. We're now funding $1,500 for volleyballs and equipment for the middle school after school sports program. So those are some of the activities that we do with that. So I've kind of talked a lot. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to try to answer them. I've been a board member for about 10 years now.
So Chris, real quick, you said the 17th, but the Saturday is the 18th.
18th. Okay.
Okay.
I believe it is Saturday, the 18th. And we are what's going to happen is we will be sending home things. Robert Down back to school night caught us a little bit by surprise. It's earlier than some of the other schools. And normally we always try to have packets out to the teachers by then, but because it's a virtual event, we thought we had a little leeway.
Just
But yeah,
get it to us and we'll send it out to all the families.
perfect. Yeah, and it's a great event. And it's a way to gather, and it's also, I know my wife is Mrs. Evans, first grade teacher, and her classroom generally raises anywhere between $600 and $1,000 per year, depending on the participation of the class and whatnot. And it's money that they really count on for field trips, for t-shirts, all of the things. So the teachers aren't traditionally going to the parents time after time and saying, we'd like, $10 for this field trip. And you just do the walk with pride and it's done. And it's a tax deductible because it's going through the nonprofit organization.
All right. So any parents that just joined us right now, do you have any questions for Mr. Evans about PG Pride? Go ahead and raise your hand. If you hover down on the bottom of your screen, click on reactions and raise hand. We'll get those questions for Mr. Evans. And okay. Chris, thank you so much for coming tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for allowing me
to walk with pride.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Okay, for other parents that have just joined us, if you do have any just general questions, please go ahead and raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you can ask away. Okay, don't see any hands right now. But I'll try to give to go over some of the information that we already covered in the last half hour. Several parents, what they asked about was, one parent asked about the exposures. What are choices if you feel like your child has been exposed? We have to have it verified by Nurse Pally or the Department of Health. But obviously, if you felt that, if you hear from another parent, if another parent calls you and says, hey, my child is positive, and you know that the two of you had a play date, obviously that's an exposure if their masks were off and they were together for over 15 minutes. So we would just need to be informed about that, make sure that Nurse Pally has that information. And obviously those absences would be excused under quarantine for this year. That was one of the first questions that came out in the last session. The other question was about ventilation. And for those parents that are new or did not attend any of the information nights we had in the spring, we don't have the newer systems for our ventilation or air system here at Robert Down. Actually, next year we will be celebrating the 100th year of this building. And boy, she still stands, but boy, there are some issues because it's 100 years old. But we have a pretty good system. Mr. Kelly, who's our director of maintenance, did some tests based on the Department of Health and the engineers of air flow and everything. I can't repeat everything to a T, but I do know this, that when he did his report or gave his report to the board, we met all of the thresholds and we actually were above the thresholds quite a bit. So our airflow in the classrooms is darn good when the fans are working, and they've been working from what I understand. Mr. Adam Hyatt, did it ask you? Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Mr. Keller, I'm just curious, is there a 7 o'clock session for most classes?
There should be. Are you having a difficulty with the link?
The link is working. There's literally no one in there though, which seems odd. It's Levy.
I'll text her and ask what's going on. I know she's here right now, so I would doubt. You may want to double check and maybe just click. Not sure if you had the right class, but I know she's on campus doing her presentation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Let me text her. Okay, I just reached out to her and I'll let you know fairly soon, okay?
I just went into that meeting and there's quite a number of people there.
Okay, so yeah, just make sure you're clicking on the right one.
Here's that link.
Yeah, we put the link in the chat. Okay, again, I'm looking for hands to answer any kind of questions if you have general questions. If you do not, then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go over what we've covered so far. There's a question about PTA, how to be involved. And again, we have a PTA link right on the Robert Down website, right on the front page. So please click on that and you can find out how to donate to the PTA. And they always need help. So as I shared at the PTA meeting on Monday night, even if you only help with one event, you know, and again, I want to make sure that if we have an event, that we're safe. I'll just say this, if we were to have an event tomorrow night, I would probably cancel it based on what we are dealing with this week. It's just too scary right now. I want to make sure that all the kids that are in quarantine are finished with their quarantine, that everybody's back safe at school, and we have several days of no issues and no positive COVID cases before we would even consider having another event, even outside. So, but if we have an event and it's going forward, if you can help out even just one time, that's really all the PTA needs. So we would appreciate your time. Another parent asked about placement outside of school by our district. Again, North Monterey County is offering the Independent Studies or eSchool program. And they do have a connection face-to-face on our David Avenue campus, which is on, we share an independent study program for the high school on that campus. But we have gone into agreement with North Monterey County to provide independent studies or eSchool for our youngest students this year. And you would have to disenroll from Pacific Grove Unified, get an interdistrict transfer with Denise Ingalls at our district office, and she would help you get enrolled into their program. Another parent asked about test availability in the county. If you didn't click on the email that I sent out yesterday, I did provide a list of all the current Monterey County COVID testing agencies that are offering either free or for fee testing. Again, we do offer free testing. I believe it's the LCR testing, which takes about 3 days to get the results back. And that is at our district office every single Monday, all day long. That might change in October though, however. So as of now, it's every Monday. And Dr. Ports, our superintendent, did share that Nurse Pally is looking into other rapid testing agencies, and we're trying to work with our neighboring districts as well to see how we can offer that to our parents. And those are all the topics that we've discussed so far tonight. So Ms. Fruden, do you want to take this opportunity to talk about the counseling program?
Of course. So for counseling this year, we are going to be, the big event that's happening virtually is next Tuesday night for all of our families that want to learn about Toolbox, which is our social emotional learning program that we all use at Robert Down and at Forest Grove. It's our elementary program. You'll see the link to the meeting and the information on the meeting in, I believe, the parent do you call your newsletter, right? What is there? a
Yeah,
name?
we'll give out that information so everyone can join in.
Yeah. And then, but counseling at Robert Down, I do individual as well as group counseling. And I also go into the classrooms twice a month to deliver social emotional learning lessons. So all the kids are going to get to know me and see me. And it's kind of what the program is all about. Along with, we'll have reading nights and also coffees for parents on different topics throughout the year.
All right, do any parents have questions for Ms. Fruden? Again, you need to hover the bottom of your screen. You'll see a little pop-up with mute, start video, security, participants, all the way to the right, reactions. You click on reactions and there's a raise hand feature where you can ask a question and we'll unmute you. Okay, Jeannie.
Hi, this is Jeannie. I actually don't have a question for you, Ms. Sonda.
Okay.
Sorry, it's for Mr. Keller. It's just a quickie. I'm just trying to remember who's going to verify the kids that are currently under the quarantine or being sent home and asked to test twice. Who verifies that before they come back to school?
That is Nurse Pally.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions out there? Okay, so since we're recording, Ms. Nguzi, would you like to talk about your intervention program? About to unmute you, don't I?
Hi there. Sorry, my name is not Betty Nyuzunguzi. That's my son's name. It sounds like I'm a great Brazilian soccer player, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm actually the intervention teacher at Robert Down. And I know my husband says, what does that even mean? Intervention sounds kind of scary, but it's actually quite lovely what I do. I feel really good about coming back to my hometown and contributing to our most sometimes people say at risk, but our most needy students in terms of needing support in reading and math. And we determine that by assessment and by referral by teachers. Right now I'm in the thick of doing Dibbles Assessments. Dibbles stands for Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. And I dibble every single student at Robert Down from 1st grade through 5th grade. Later in the year, we'll include kindergartners too. And that gives me a real, like a quick measure of how much they've grown from previous years if they've been here before, and a quick look at their benchmark in terms of grade level norms. So Dibbles was developed by the University of Oregon, and it's based on over 4 decades of reading research. So it's quite strong and well respected in the reading research community. And it's a nice little, when I go into classrooms, I usually introduce myself and talk about how when they go to the doctor's office, and you may have heard me say this last year at open house or back to school night, when you go to the doctor when you're healthy, they take your temperature, they take with that cool little device on your finger, it looks like magic when they measure your blood oxygen level, but they also measure your height, how much you've grown, and your weight. And at our students' age, they continue to grow in their height and they continue to grow in their weight. And at their age, that's a good thing. I never get taller nowadays when I go. I do get heavier sometimes. So we talk about how I get to do the cool job of measuring their reading growth each year and several times a year for some students. And we just keep checking on that progress, taking that temperature, making sure that they're at a level of basic literacy skills that will help them to access the core curriculum. So my job is to help anyone who's having trouble accessing core curriculum, to give them that boost, that extra boost, not take them away from their core curriculum, but to give them more than their core curriculum and give them that boost to help them access that core curriculum. So that's the cool job that I get to do. And intervention isn't a scary word. It's actually, for me, quite an honor to do this in my hometown where I grew up.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tobin. Would you like to talk about the PE program?
Sure, everybody. Welcome to Robert Down, another fabulous year where Mr. D and I, even though we loved making all those Vimeos for kids and having those Google Meets, we are so happy to be out on the field with all of our children. So the way our physical education program works, we have every student every day. We are completely outside, and we're going to stay outside as much as we possibly can. So it's a wonderful idea for your child to have some what we call PE shoes, running shoes, tennis shoes, because we are on the grass a lot and we are very active. And so when your children have shoes on their feet that will allow them to have the best PE experience, that's always wonderful. And we have told this to every class and every student, that they can also have on the nifty shoes that match their outfit, just have a pair of PE shoes as well. So you can ask your classroom teacher what time your student has physical education, but we've kind of organized it with them where, hey, why don't you put your PE shoes on at lunchtime or at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, whenever it works for their class and their grades. We do see one grade at a time, but we do maintain a good amount of distance that we possibly can, and we use a lot of space. And when we kind of have informally asked the children, when they come out to us, really most of them are masked. It had been optional up until this point, but we do see that the children are really with us staying masked, and that's a good thing, you know. And of course, we don't mandate it for them, but that it just seems to be the norm right now. And it kind of makes Mr. D and I really happy that everybody just gets it, that we're trying to protect ourselves and everyone around us and yet have fun. Our new PE office shed, Mr. Evans, who you heard from for PG Pride, just completed our solar power into that facility so that we can be able to pump up more balls and do more things for children. And it is kind of our office over by the tree in the corner of the upper field. So we are there in between classes, during recess, during lunch, etc. So you can always come and visit us there, as well as, of course, through our office and through our emails. So that's our PE program. And if anyone has any questions, I'm right here and I love to talk about PE.
We're glad that you're back on campus, Tobin.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, I don't see any hands, and we are kind of getting closer to the end of our time. And I don't want to put her too much on the spot, but Ms. Davis, do you want to talk about your resource program at all? Yeah. May have caught her off guard there. Okay. Well, I'll talk about the program just a little bit. Basically, at the elementary level, when we see that kids are having some issues, we will hold a student study team. Hi, Ms. Davis.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
But did I start off okay so far? A student study team can be held for various reasons. It can be held for academic concerns. It can be held for social emotional concerns. It can be held for concerns about acceleration. You know, you really would like to see your student go beyond. So if you do ever have any concerns or your teacher shares concerns with you, we could start off by having a student study team. And most of the people that have just spoken would be a part of that team. So, and then I'll go ahead and give it to Ms. Davis.
Great. Yep. I am the resource teacher at Robert Down. And like Mr. Keller just said, if you ever have any academic concerns, I would be a part of the student study team, and we would work closely with Ms. Zunguzzi to make sure that we are addressing your students' needs in intervention first. And then if we are concerned of any sort of learning disability or anything like that, I would be the one to facilitate that assessment process and be the case manager of your student if they were to qualify for an IEP, an individualized education plan.
Thank you. And just let me note, a lot of parents have misconceptions and do a lot of stuff on their own before they come to us with the needs for their child. And we just want to let you know that as a public institution, we have to do our own assessments here by law, regardless if you do a private assessment on your own. A lot of parents feel that once they've spent that money on the private assessment, they can provide it to us and voila, services occur. And that really isn't the case. So if you, again, have any concerns, always just reach out to us. We would hate to have you spend that money. However, we do work closely, and our psychologist, Desi Zanger, looks at those reports that are provided to us and will provide you with a separate report. And we definitely will compare them. But we have to go off of what we create as a district in a school. And I will tell you that I have never worked with a better team than the ladies that are on the screen right now. So you are in excellent hands with our intervention services. And I will say too that we work really close with Forest Grove as well. And we just have created a dynamic team that are really looking out for your kids, both academically and emotionally. And we just love working with kids, and that's what we do. So just time for any last questions. Again, this is being recorded. So if your friends ask about the presentation, or they said, oh, you know, I had 2 kids and I had to go to the different sessions for teachers, we'll have this available for you through our website, and I'll push it out through an email to everybody for sure. So again, if you hover to the bottom of your screen and you go to click on the reactions with the smiley face and the little plus hat, you can ask for raise your hand. And we'll try to answer questions before we leave in just a few minutes. Okay, on my end, again, I'm not seeing any hands raised, but I do have a lot of sticky notes on my screen too, so I want to make sure I can see everybody. Just a few things I want parents to be aware of, and I did send out an email earlier in the week about getting help with the shed, or I said that at PTA on Monday night. We have an older shed, and I do have a gentleman that may provide some lifts, but we might need a crew to come in and help with trying to restore some of the wood on the old shed and possibly the roof as well. So if you are into carpentry or construction, please just reach out to me and we'll get a crew going in, and we'll probably go in and work on that shed over a weekend. Secondly, we have a pretty extensive root issue in our primary playground area. Last year, I went in and I pulled up, I can't tell you how many roots, because our beautiful oak tree is looking for water. So the roots are coming underneath the concrete there into our play structure, and they're coming up to the surface. And unfortunately, little pieces of roots are sticking out. And just again, the more the kids play, the more it kind of gets scuffled up and the roots are exposed. I'll be looking for a crew to come in just to go through and clip away and pull and try to get as many roots out as we can. Our maintenance director, Mr. Kelly, has promised to get some more wood chips, but I'm just thinking that until that company can come and deliver those chips, and even if we just dump more chips, the roots are still going to grow. And trust me, some of the roots that I pulled out were this round, and they were really, really thick, and they were making kids trip. So again, if you have some time, you can come over on your own time. You can do it anytime on the weekend and just look for the roots, pull them up, throw them away in the garbage cans. We have big bins over by our music room on the other side of campus. We would love to get that help. And I'll be looking to get a crew together for that. But again, if you have your own time and you want to come over and help out, that would be great. We would love to have you come by. Lastly, again, please emphasize hand washing with your students. Make sure that if they're using the restroom to hand wash, we have plenty of hand washing stations on campus. All they need to do is ask if they want to go inside. We have an outside one over on the primary area as well. And again, we're trying to keep hands clean by using wipes, by hand washing, and of course, using the little pumps that we have of the, I'm forgetting the name, but basically all the stuff that kids are using to disinfect their hands. So my brain is getting rotted right now. Lastly, again, I've had several people reach out to help with the gates. I do need some help possibly in the afternoon as well. And again, on the note of hand washing, having people come at lunch to help with the little ones, just to get them washing their hands at all times, before, after eating. We just want to make sure that the kids are safe and we can keep our school open. So if you have time, reach out to me, text me, email me, and I'll just say that texting is probably the best thing, because I have lots of emails right now and I'm trying to play catch up. So other than that, again, if you have any last minute questions, again, feel free. I'll stick around for just a little bit. I don't want to leave any parents hanging if they have any questions. And again, you go down to the bottom, click on reaction and click raise your hand, and I'll stick around for just another minute or so and answer some questions, okay? So if not, have a great night. Let's have a great year and let's keep our kids safe, okay? But again, if you just, I know Heather, you just came in. If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, okay? Okay. All right. Love you too, Nan. All right, so Heather, just so you know, I'm pretty much wrapping it up right now. But honestly, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to have a conversation right now. You sure? Okay, all right. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so I'm gonna give it about another minute, everybody, and then I'm gonna sign off, okay? Thanks, Kelsey. Okay, so again, just remember this session has been recorded. So let your friends know if they weren't able to make it tonight. Have a great time. Again, reach out anytime if you need anything. Take care, everyone.